Hey, awesome teachers! I'm Katrina Ayers, and you're watching Awesome Teacher Nation TV, the place to be to get positive teaching strategies, hints, and tips. In this episode, we're going to talk about incentive programs. Why do they work sometimes and sometimes they just don't? And what can you do about it if your incentive program isn't working? But first, let's take a look at this week's featured teacher resource. Is chaos taking over your classroom? Want to know how to make that chaos disappear? Learn how now with Taming the Chaos, an online course you can do at your own pace. Available now at positiveteachingstrategies.com. The sanity you save could be your own. This time of year, I see a lot of incentive programs going on in classrooms. Things like kids get to earn marbles in a jar, and when the jar gets full, they get a pizza party or something like that. Or maybe little tokens, little pieces of paper, little tickets that are given out to students when they do something right. And they can put that into a drawing and they can get a big prize. I definitely think incentives can help students to do the right thing. It helps them to remember the right thing to do and to feel acknowledged when they do the right thing. But sometimes incentive programs and reward systems can backfire, and they cannot work at all, or what's even worse is sometimes they can cause even more misbehavior than you had in the first place. So let's talk about 4 ways that your incentive program can go wrong and what are some solutions to fix it. Problem number 1, when some of your kids feel like incentives are only for the good kids. Students who struggle a lot with their behavior, who are already having a difficult time, they can feel like, those incentive programs, those are only for the good kids. Only good kids get the prizes. Only good kids get enough of those little tokens that they can be in the drawing and have any hope of winning a prize. And so sometimes those very incentive programs that are supposed to encourage good student behavior can cause the students that need that encouragement the most to just completely give up. One solution to that problem is eliminating competition and encouraging cooperation. One way to foolproof your incentive program is to not make it so that the students are competing against each other to try to earn more and more points. Instead, make it where the students can earn individual points that go into a whole class incentive. Problem number 2, when your incentive feels like a threat. An incentive program can feel like a threat because there's always that possibility they might not earn the incentive. So when I say to you, if you do this action, you're going to get this prize, there's also an implication. If you don't do this action, you won't get this prize. And that feels like something's getting taken away from you, which feels like a threat. If for whatever reason your incentive program feels manipulative or it feels like a threat to your students, one of the problems with that is it can damage the relationship that the teacher has with the students. And students tend to act better, tend to behave better, tend to try harder for teachers that they have a good relationship with. So if you're eroding away that relationship with your students, it can mean that their behavior is going to get worse. Solve that problem by offering partial credit. Instead of offering all or nothing rewards, so in other words, if the class walks quietly in the hallway, you'll get a class point, offer 2 points instead. That way, if almost all of your students walk quietly in line, you can give 1 point instead of 2. That takes away from the one person getting a lot of attention for ruining it, for being the spoiler. And it also acknowledges the people who did the right thing.
Problem number 3, the spoiler.
Sometimes incentive programs can give certain students a great opportunity to get extra attention for doing misbehavior. Think about it. If the entire class is trying to earn a pizza party and one student stubbornly does the opposite of whatever it is they're supposed to be doing, who gets the most attention? All the kids who are going along with it, or that one student who's going against the stream?
Stymie the spoiler by offering a side deal.
Offer a side deal to the student who tends to be the spoiler or tends to struggle with a certain behavior. So back to that hallway example, if I had a student who had a hard time walking in line appropriately, pull him aside privately so it won't embarrass him and say, hey, you know what? If you walk in line perfectly this time, you'll earn a bonus point for the class. That gives that student the motivation to try, but it also takes away the possibility that if he fails, he's going to get a lot of extra attention from his classmates or from the teacher.
Problem number 4, cheating.
Now, of course, you want a good incentive program that's going to motivate your students. But one problem is if the motivation or if the prize is too good, it can cause students to cheat, bully, extort, counterfeit, all kinds of problems like that to try to get the prize without actually doing the great behavior. You need to be especially careful with anything that can be used like money. So for instance, one time I had a class money system. It was actually little bucks that looked like dollars that I would give out as incentives when students did something correct, like turning in their homework or for whatever reason. Well, what happened to me was there was a counterfeiter in my room, and she would make photocopies of the money and then hand it out to all her friends. So we had a little counterfeiting ring going on. Another thing that can happen is students can use that money to bully other students. So they can intimidate the other students into giving them their tokens or their money. So if you do set up an incentive program like that, please make sure that you foolproof it as much as possible so that it can't be used for bullying and extortion. I hope this hint helps you to create great incentive programs for your classroom that won't backfire. And now, go create a great day for yourself and your students.
Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. If you want more Sanity Boosting classroom management hints like this one, please subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like access to even more information and resources for classroom teachers, come on over to positiveteachingstrategies.com and join our tribe. You'll get a weekly Sanity Boost, access to the Awesome Teacher Nation resources library, and more. You are an awesome teacher, and I appreciate everything you do for your students. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time on Awesome Teacher Nation TV.